Hey, on this edition of the Off the Bench podcast, we're keeping the vibe with East Baltimore's own Will Barton. We appreciate you spending some time with us, brother.
Appreciate it for having me.
Hey, so in the beginning when you first got here, I remember we were talking and you talked about the excitement of just being back in the region. Now that you've got a couple games under your belt being back in the region, was it everything you thought it would be?
Yeah, definitely. A lot of, crowd participation anytime I'm checking in the game. I hear the support after the games. Guys in the crowd always tell me, keep your head up, you're a secret weapon and stuff like that. So it's just a lot of love and support that I appreciate.
When was the first time you noticed the people was in the building giving you love? Was it the home opener?
Yeah, straight from the opener, really. I could just hear people just yelling my name and just saying Baltimore and just going crazy.
It's funny, you was getting down in one of the early games, and I said during the broadcast, I said, East Baltimore, stand up. And a dude on Twitter hit me up. He's like, man, what you know about East Baltimore? I said, man, 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗡 taught me about East Baltimore.
Yeah.
It's so funny being kind of like a DC team, but understanding that this region is more than just what they call the DMV.
Yeah.
There's so much basketball love up in Baltimore. And I thought adding you to the mix really can bring these two regions together. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like besides the rivalry, the DC-Baltimore thing, we got a lot of things in common, especially basketball. I think both cities, have a lot of talent, know the game. So I feel like when you have me on the team, it just, we kind of gel together and everybody can, just sit back and enjoy basketball and talk basketball.
Let's get to the beginning for you. When did basketball kind of become a part of your life?
From the beginning, it was my life, it still is my life. I started playing basketball ever since I could remember. I started playing organized basketball when I was about 6. So, it's always been there for me. It's always been everything.
Who put the ball in your hand first?
Myself.
Really?
Yeah, I had my dad, people were telling me my dad played and he was good. My aunt was good, she played, but nobody really just, put a ball in my hand and asked me that I want to play. I just found it naturally, and then once people saw that I had a passion for it, then they would take me places and play and stuff like that. But I loved it on my own. I fell in love with it on my own. Nobody had to introduce me to it.
Was it something you saw on TV or somebody you saw playing like at the rec or out in the street? Like how does a 6-year-old kind of gravitate to the game without somebody essentially handing the ball to him?
I just gravitated to it. I remember my mom, like last year, sent me a picture. I probably was about 2 years old, and she holding me on her lap, and I got a basketball in my hand, like a little blue basketball. I just loved it. I don't know. I don't remember seeing anybody play or watching TV at first. It just, like ever since I could just remember, I just always had a ball in my hand.
What was it like kind of growing up in East Baltimore with basketball? And like, was there some guys that was hooping that you saw from afar and it was like, man, that guy or that lady could hoop, and I wanted to kind of model my game after them? Was there anybody like that?
It was just a lot of people, especially growing up where I'm from. Like once I got really into it, you start hearing about them old Dunbar teams, Muggsy Bogues, Reggie Lawrence, Reggie Williams, David Wingate, all those guys. You start hearing about the history of it. Skip Wise and all those names, it kind of intrigue you as you going on your journey. Even though I was young, I was just so interested in it because I knew that's what I wanted to do. And once I seen that they had success at high school, college, and got to the league, I would just, try to ask people as much information as I could about certain guys I would hear about, and then just do my own thing. As I got older and start, understanding what it was, I just started doing my own thing.
It's amazing being a student of the game where you understand those Dunbar teams and how great those players were and how kind of fearful teams would have kind of going up against them, especially at Dunbar. When you got to Lake Clifton, how much were you a student of that then?
I was already deep in it. Okay. That's what I'm saying. Like, I always knew the history, and I always wanted to compete against it because I always wanted to be one of the best to ever come from my city. So I knew I had to do certain things to be considered the best. I would look at some of those teams and see guys, going undefeated, being nationally ranked. So that was always one of my goals was to have an undefeated season in high school and be nationally ranked and be a nationally ranked player. So like you said, I would do my homework on those things and, like I said, ask questions, do my research and then say, all right, I want to do something like this too so I can be remembered.
I saw you post the other day. You had your 𝗦𝗢𝗡𝗧𝗏 jersey on.
Yeah.
Is it time?
Oh, it's definitely time. Somebody had brought me a jersey. I didn't wear it to the game. Somebody had bought me that jersey. And when I seen it, I was like, oh yeah, they got to hang this up in the Raptors, baby. Undefeated, 28-0. Yeah, I'm in the NBA now. They got to hang that up. It's time.
Tell me about your time there. What did you learn most about your experience at 𝗦𝗢𝗡𝗧𝗏?
Man, I think that's just where I just became a young man. Before then, I was still a kid. Coach Herman, Hareed, everybody called him Coach Tree, really taught me the value of team and winning. Even though I was the star, he never put me above the team. I remember one practice, the beginning of the season, I came in there and anybody will tell you that ever went to 𝗦𝗢𝗡𝗧𝗏, we do a lot of running.
Okay.
Like the first week of practice, we don't even pick up a basketball. It's all conditioning. Running with bricks, all kinds of things. We getting timed runs. And I remember the first day, it was so tough. I went to his office at the practice. I was like, man, I don't know if I can make this. And he was like, that's cool, just don't come back to my gym. Said it just like that. So once, I seen things like that and I had to take it more serious, and he just taught me different values, man, that, just stuck with me even to this day, just to work hard, be a dog, and we had a special team up there.
Watching you kind of from afar, I would always respect the fact that I always felt like when the popcorn was popping, you were at your best.
Yeah.
It really didn't kind of matter the moment or who you were playing. And then since you've been here, I've kind of noticed that too. When it's time to get it cracking, you know what to do. Do you remember what I told you the other night in Philadelphia before the game?
Yeah.
We just kind of looked at each other. And you just had that look about it's time to get after it.
Yeah.
Do you know during a season when it's time for you to kind of show up and show out?
Definitely. It's different moments, different times during the season where, I want to pick my play up. Whether I haven't been playing that well, the team hasn't been playing that well, or it's a big game where, we're trying to prove a point. Or right now, we had lost a couple games. It's time to get back on that winning side. And I know most of the time I'm a big part of that. So I got to go out there and perform.
Before we talk about your time in Denver, I do want to talk about your AAU program, because I think this is something that I think a lot of our listeners will appreciate, is you giving back to your community from a grassroots perspective. Talk about Team Thrill, when you got it started, and kind of what's the mission statement for you?
It's always been a dream of mine to make it to the NBA. Even when I was young, that was the plan, to make it and then be able to start my own youth basketball program so I could give back. And the whole mission to me is just to get those young kids a platform, to show their game off. And, to get, college scholarships, to be able to go to school for free and not just, think about making it to the NBA, but making it in life. Just let them travel to, USA and hopefully the world and be able to see life different, because Baltimore is so small. I remember before I started traveling for basketball, I didn't know nothing else but my block. And you start seeing, different places, how big the world is, your attitude, your mind start changing. You start wanting more for yourself. So I wanted that for the kids.
You were telling me this is really a grassroots program where you get them young to when they're 17 and then they go off to college. Yeah. How young do you start?
Man, we get them 6 years old. It's like a farm system. We try to get them real young and just grow them throughout the program. So yeah, about 6 years old.
And in this past summer, your 17s won the Under Armour National Championship. Your 15s won the Under Armour National Championships, and the 16s finished runner-up?
Yeah, lost in overtime,
Wow.
Yeah.
You clearly doing something right.
Yeah. We wanted to get all three of them. We would have been the first team in history to get all three, but I mean, like I said, just very proud of the whole program from top to bottom. Coaches, staff, obviously the players, their parents, everyone that just has a hand in what we're trying to build.
And I get the sense from you, it's not just you're putting your name on it and your financial support. There seems to be some sweat equity in this with you too.
Oh yeah, I done worked out with the kids individually, practiced with them, played pickup with them, all kinds of things. I want to actually get into coaching them. So just about trying to find that balance in that time. As I get later in my career, I think I'll be able to do even more of that with them.
Have you seen AAU Brad yet?
Yeah, I seen some of the talks he had with his kids, and I'm the same way. But that's, they need to hear those things. Just build character and get them ready for the real world and what they're trying to do.
What's next for you in terms of grassroots and your team? How do you want to expand it?
We're actually thinking about doing the team thrill in Memphis, where I went to college at. So that might be the next step. And like I said, for me personally, me trying to, coach one of the age groups.
What do the parents say to you? Because I know that the kids, obviously, to have an NBA player really umbrella the organization and bring kids in, but I'm sure these parents are so thankful to have their kids have this type of resource.
Yeah, that's exactly it. They always show me a lot of love and tell me how thankful they are for me to, be able to get the kids this type of platform and, help them showcase their skills.
I want to talk about your time in Denver. I was looking this up the other day. I didn't realize this. You're the all-time three-point maker in their franchise's history. You made the most three-pointers in Nuggets history. Yeah. How did you do that?
Just shooting that thing, man. I'm putting in a lot of work on my three-ball. Coming into the league, that was a weakness for me. So I really wanted to work on it because I knew the better I shot the ball, the more my game would open up because of my athleticism, my ability to drive and pass. But in the league, if you can shoot it, you become even more dangerous. So just a lot of hours, a lot of reps, a lot of off seasons where I was working on that three-ball, and to go from a weakness to now a franchise all-time leader just shows the type of work, the type of discipline, the resilience and the confidence that, a guy can have and how things could just change.
You dealt with the business of basketball, I'm sure, before, but what was that like when you get traded?
I had been traded before, so I understood it. I always, as I got more years in the league, I understood that it's a business, and my outlook was if you're not the superstar of the team, you're not going to spend your whole career in one place. So I knew it would be coming sooner or later, and to be honest with you, I never thought I would be in Denver the longest anyway. I wound up being there the longest more than any other player, so I didn't even see that. So for it to last that long was shocking. I always knew my time was coming, so when it came, I just was like, all right, what's next?
Denver's the first game that we play on that long West Coast swing. Is Will Barton the type of dude that kind of just looks at the calendar and circles it, or you just kind of like, it's just another game?
Oh, man,
We keep it a bean on this podcast.
Oh, man, it is what it is. That's how I look at it. I'm not going to downplay it and say, like, I don't look forward to the game. But at the same time, it's just a regular season game. It is another game. I'm just go out there and be me like I do any other time. My whole focus right now is us just winning games, trying to put ourselves in the best position to be a winning team and, get to the playoffs. But, yeah, that's a game I definitely look forward to just because I spent so much time there. I really grew as a person and as a player, so obviously you look forward to going back.
I got to ask you, you got one of the best nicknames in the league. Where does Thrill come from?
My first coach gave me that, Leslie Dennis, rest in peace. He coached me at Johnny Howard, my recreation team where I first started. And I was 6, but I was playing 8 and under. So I was playing up, but I was playing a lot and I was doing well. And I would just do fancy passes, dribbling moves and stuff like that. And he just started calling me Thrill, and it just stuck. Everybody just started calling me that after that.
Yeah, that's cool. Rest in peace.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll finish with this. With social media, sometimes you just kind of just go through it and you just see things. You're kind of like, okay. And the other day, something popped up, and it was you with bars. When did Thrill become a rapper, and then when did, the concept of just doing, because you always know the saying, rappers want to be athletes, athletes want to be rappers, but you're doing both.
Yeah, it's true. That saying is true, but the crazy thing is, I'm just so to myself and things like that. Like, I've been rapping for a while now, though. Like, I had a EP about 5 years ago called Unexpected. That's out on all the platforms too. But I just, you know, if you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. I don't really like go crazy about telling people, you know, what I do or who I am. I just kind of let you see what it is for yourself. But yeah, I've been rapping for a minute now. I like it.
Are there any MCs that, because obviously with basketball, you said you were 6 years old, you just picked up a ball and just, was it the same thing with rapping? You were just like, I could put 2 rhymes together, it sound good? Or was there some MCs that you
the music thing was different. I always loved music. You know, I was younger, I never had a passion for making music. I never thought I could do it. But then what changed was one of my closest friends, he started rapping, and he started rapping for real. And he was getting called in for like record companies and stuff like that. And I seen him go from like, you know, starting rapping in his basement on his computer to like really becoming a real rapper that was good. So where it started was he would always send me his music and be like, yo, listen to this before he would drop it, tell me what you think. So it made me change my perspective of music because I would have to really listen to give him my honest opinion. So it made me break down bars, listen to music differently, not just, you know, on the surface of it. It made me dig a little deeper. And the older I got, you know, going through things, music, you know, it helps you. So then I just started, you know, growing a bigger passion for it. And then I just was like, dang, you know, I want to make music. And then that's when it happened. I called my friend. I was like, yo, I'm thinking about doing some music. He was like, for real? I was like, yeah. And we just got in the studio one all season for about 2 weeks, and we came up with Unexpected. That was like a 5-song EP. And, you know, ever since then, I just been in love with it. And then we just dropped the One and None, another 5-song EP just passed recently. And I just love it.
What inspires you? Are there certain things during the season and off season, current events? What kind of gets you into the lab where you just start collaborating and coming up with stuff?
With the music thing?
Yeah.
A lot of different things. Things I go through, things I've been through, how I'm living right now. Like, my life real exciting. To be able to do what I'm doing, live the way I'm living, from where I come from is always crazy to me. So I always get inspired by so many different things to make music because with me, I'm just telling you my life story. I'm just telling you how it is. Either I'm doing it, I did it, or I'm about to do it. So that part of it is easy for me. I'm not making nothing up. I'm not fabricating. Everything I say is the 100% truth. Like literally like every rhyme. Like, and my friends and anybody around me can attest to it. So like, I get inspired by anything, like whether it's positive, negative, anything I see, like, I get inspired by it and make music.
It's interesting because I know 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗢𝗪, he's local, really good singer, right? He's got a couple albums out. Dame Dollar is probably one of the best MCs, not just in the NBA, but like he's a really good MC.
Dame can really do it.
So, would you ever think about collaborating with guys like that?
And that's what I be saying. Like, I'm so in my own world. You feel what I'm saying? I'm so in my own world and to myself with everything. Like, I don't think about doing stuff like that. If it just happened organically, I would do it. But like, as far as reaching out to people to try to do it, I would never just do that because I'm just in my own world. Like, that's why my last EP was called One and None. Like, I'm just from another planet. I'm on my own vibe, my own wave. I just do my own thing, and my music is like, it's kind of different because it's kind of raw. I'm telling you the real truth. Like,
I know.
I ain't really holding nothing back. I ain't really hiding nothing in my music. Like, so my rap style, it's like, I'm not like a bar guy. Like, damn, he really rapping. Me, I'm giving it to reality. Like, I ain't trying to bar you to death. It's like, just like reality rap, just like what I'm doing, what I'm seeing. I'm giving it to you like that. So,
but the one that I heard, obviously you talked about where you came from, talked about Denver, living in Miami in the summer, and like now, so it is kind of just, this is my story. which makes it, like you said, raw, but really more authentic when you think about it, because your journey is your journey.
Yeah, I'm giving it to you real. Good and the bad and the ugly. I'm giving it to you straight up, how it is, how I'm living, and how I see life and how I see the world. My thoughts, my opinions, for better or worse. That's how I give it to you. So like my raps,
I don't write them down?
No, I don't have to.
On top of the head.
Yeah,
So
most of the top of the head. So like, if I have like during the season, if I have like thoughts or something, I'm like, damn, that's kind of fly, I'll write it in my notes. But I never write whole songs in my notes. Like, when it's time to go to the studio, I go to the studio. I done probably already picked some beats I like.
Okay.
I go in there with my homeboys. We vibe. We play the beat out loud, and I come up with it organically, like in that moment. That's what I'm saying. Like I'm a different kind of. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like artist, I'm not even writing this stuff down. I'm just punching stuff in. Like I might, let's say we listen to the beat. I'm thinking of something. All right. I tell the engineer, I'm going to the booth, let me say something. Boom, I say whatever that I just thought of in my head, go out, play it loud, and keep adding on, that way.
Okay.
Like, I gotta be in the moment. Like, that's how I like to make my music. It gotta be in the moment, fly fresh at that time. I don't really like to try to recreate stuff. You get what I'm saying? That's why I like to make music, because I can talk about these moments, how I'm living. But I don't want to write something down, then I got to go in the studio and it's premeditated. Unless I'm going at that exact time. Like during the season, it's tough for me to just make music, me writing something down, and then I ain't went in the studio until about 6 months.
Right.
Now it's old to me, I'm not feeling that way no more, or I'm not in that vibe or that mode at that time. So it's like, you get what I'm saying? Yeah, so I'ma just, unless it's like really crazy, and I'm like, yeah, I like that, or it's like a hook or something, then yeah, I'll keep it. But for the most part, I'm creating this music like right there on the spot. Like we go in the studio right now, I would have to listen to something, boom, boom, get a vibe, play with something in my head, and be like, all right, I like the way this sound, I'm gonna go with this vibe for this song, and then we do it that way.
My man. I'm gonna have Will actually write an off the bench podcast rhyme. And I'm gonna have him, well, maybe he'll give it to me and I'll do it just to see how good I can rap.
I ain't gonna write it though.
You gonna write it? It's gonna be off the top of the head?
Off the top.
That's gonna be an assignment we're working on. Real, thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.